So today we are diving headfirst into the work of Erica Eyres. And let me tell you, this artist is all about making you feel something.
Definitely. She's got this way of like drawing you into her world.
Exactly. And she's known for these incredible series of paintings and sculptures, each one kind of exploring a different facet of, well, the human experience.
Yeah, and what I find really interesting about Eris is how she approaches her work. She often starts with just this single image, or sometimes it's an object, and just lets the whole creative process, unfold naturally.
So it's not like she goes in with like a rigid plan.
No, not at all. She lets the work kind of reveal itself organically, which I think is really cool.
That's fascinating. It's like she's giving the art room to breathe, and this new exhibit, No One Knows I'm Dying, seems to be structured kind of like a journey, through these different psychological chambers, as she calls them, almost like stages of, I don't know, life, maybe even death.
Right. You get the sense that she's inviting us to confront like the hidden parts of ourselves, the stuff we don't usually want to think about.
And speaking of hidden things, let's talk about that first chamber, Skin Deep. Just the name, right? It
Yeah.
immediately made me think about, like, what lies beneath the surface, literally, in this case.
Yeah.
You've got these figures kind of obscured, hidden, and the focus is really on their skin, their hair. But the source material she used, that's what really struck me. It's photographs from, get this, cosmetology and dermatology textbooks.
Yeah, that's such a powerful choice. I mean, you've got these images that are all about like achieving the ideal, right?
Yeah.
Erasing flaws, masking imperfections. But then she uses them to portray these figures who seem so withdrawn, so, I don't know, almost ashamed.
So it's like she's flipping the script on how we view beauty and those industries, right?
Totally. Like she's making us question what's really going on beneath the surface. Are these figures trying to hide the effects of aging, illness, the pressure to conform to society's standards of beauty? It's pretty thought-provoking stuff.
Definitely. And with a title like No One Knows I'm Dying, it makes you wonder if these figures are grappling with something deeper, something more, well, existential.
Absolutely. It's like they're carrying this weight, the secret that they're afraid to share.
Which makes me think about those ceramic pieces that are part of the exhibit, the ones described as deflated and corpse-like. What role do those play in all of this? Are they connected to these ideas of concealment and, well, mortality?
Oh, absolutely. They're like the stark reminder of our physicality, of what, inevitably awaits us all. You've got these paintings that deal with our desire to be perfect, to control how we're seen, and then bam, she hits you with these ceramics that represent decay, impermanence.
So it's like she's forcing us to confront, like, the elephant in the room.
Exactly. Death is the one thing we all have in common, and she's not letting us shy away from it.
Makes you appreciate how she uses different mediums to, like, amplify her message.
Definitely. It adds a whole other layer to the experience.
So from Skin Deep, we move on to the next chamber, emergency paintings. And this one sounds, well, intense. They're described as these smaller scale works depicting, like, first aid imagery, accidents, injuries, moments of raw vulnerability. But here's the catch: the poses. They seem staged, almost like rehearsed.
Right. It's this weird mix of vulnerability and performance, almost like she's commenting on how we present ourselves, even in our most vulnerable moments. Especially in the age of social media, like, are we ever really being authentic online?
It's a really interesting question, and I feel like this series is making us think about the line between seeking genuine help and, like, performing for an audience,
Yeah.
especially with those anonymous hands reaching in, to help or maybe even control.
Yeah. Who are those hands, right? It's unsettling because are they really trying to help or is there something else going on there? It makes you question the motivations behind why people do things, even seemingly good things.
It's like there's always more to the story than meets the eye.
Always.
Which brings us to the last chamber, vintage vulnerability. We're back to portraits, but this time it's those old school magazine images, the ones where everyone's looking so glamorous and perfect. But the thing that struck me was the subject's eyes, staring right at you.
Yeah.
What do you think she's going for with that?
It's interesting because vintage magazines, they often objectified women, right? Like they were just these images of idealized beauty, not real people. But with that direct gaze, it's like she's giving them their power back. They're challenging us to see them as individuals, not just these, two-dimensional images.
It's like they're demanding to be heard, like, we have stories too.
Exactly. Don't just dismiss us as relics of the past. We're here and we have something to say.
I'm noticing a theme here. This whole exhibit is about looking beyond the surface, about questioning everything.
Absolutely. And that's what good art should do, right? Make you think, make you feel.
So we've gone from concealed figures to staged vulnerability and now these defiant gazes. It's a lot to process.
It really is. But that's the beauty of it, It stays with you, makes you question your own assumptions, your own relationship with, well, everything, really.
This whole exhibit sounds like a wild ride, honestly.
It is. But it's a ride worth taking.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the art of Erica Eyres and her upcoming exhibit, No One Knows I'm Dying. And as we resurface from this exploration of hidden depths and uncomfortable truths, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? What masks are we all wearing? And what would it take to finally remove them? That's something to ponder as you go about your day.